Hello, everybody. This is Catchy1383 with Catchy Gaming, and I know I made a video on Mario Tennis Fever yesterday, and it turns out I made a few faulty assumptions about the game. So, first is in regards to the adventure mode. I thought it would be a lot more robust than it is, and turns out it's not. So, it turns out what you see here on this map is the adventure mode. And all those nodes are all you get. It's very short. It was 6.5 hours, with only a little bit of backtracking to finish the mini games in the academy. So yeah, I was completely and totally wrong about that. The other thing I complained about is I'm not using the shoulder buttons and the Z buttons. And maybe if I took like the 10 seconds it would have taken to look at the options, I would have seen the options to assign some of the shots I was complaining about to said shoulder buttons, like the lob shot and just a little short shot, which made the game far easier without having to push those very specific button combinations in a short little bit of time. So, yep, there's some egg on my face with that one. So I started doing tournaments and seeing their lackluster congratulations for finishing said tournaments. Kind of slightly disappointed that it's tantamount to nothing but a splash screen. Then I did the Tower of Growth, which puts specific challenges that you have to get through with specific characters. It was slightly challenging, but it had the same sort of disappointing, yeah, you did it kind of thing. I don't know, maybe it's just because I grew up with games like Mario Kart up until maybe the most recent one where they actually had a ceremony for those who won. And now you get these lackluster, yeah, you did it, yay! I don't know, it's just a disappointment for me personally. And I guess speaking of disappointing endings, you have the adventure mode where Mario just becomes normal Mario. I was like, okay, well, you broke the curse, you're back to normal. I'm like, so is it going to continue from here? And what's with the golden glowing tree? It doesn't get answered. So yeah, that was slightly disappointing. So I decided to check out a few of the mini games like Score Challenge here, playing Rosalina, because she's super OP and all of her skills, not quite max, but they're far better than pretty much everybody else's. And this was really super duper easy, especially after, the whole entire figuring out how to dedicate lob and the other ability to a button. So yeah, not much substance to this either. So another thing I did was the Piranha Plant Challenge while exploring the various other game modes I haven't played, and it is literally just an exact copy, or very close to an exact copy of what Mario Tennis Aces did, where you try and hit the ball so that the NPC that's on the other side of the court won't hit it back or miss the ball entirely when it spits it out at you. It adds the fever aspect to it as well. And I kind of feel bad for this little shy guy because I just kept bouncing the ball over the net when he's in the back. I felt like teasing him more than anything. It was slightly funny. But yeah, here I'll show you the Mario Aces. So here it is. It's extremely similar, not 100% the same, but close enough that it feels like they probably recycled a lot from Mario Aces to make this game, and I'm guessing to make it cheap and make it fast. I mean, recycling code's normal. I'm not gonna fault them for that. But just taking I guess, event that you come across in adventure mode in the Aces game. I don't know if it's in the main part. I only ever played the adventure part. It feels cheap. Not like they were being stingy with their money, but more like a cop out in terms of what they did with the content for the game. And then I played around with a score based game where you actually work with the NPC, and I'm guessing you can have a human player on the other side in order to get the ball through the rings in order to score the highest possible score possible between the two of you. This was stupidly easy, actually. I had no trouble going through the advanced stuff, but yeah, I mean, it was fun for like a little bit. I mean, I probably won't ever visit it again. So the last thing I did was start to clear the tournaments, and I went with the star tournament with doubles in this case. And I did Luigi and I chose Rosalina. And at first it was fine. Yeah, it was challenging more so than the mushroom and the fire flower cup, but when I got to Wario and Waluigi here, yeah, it it took a hard left turn. Luigi here was pissing me off like a lot. So I'd have him go in the back, and for whatever reason, Waluigi would just hit a ball right to him every freaking time, and he would just stand there and watch it happen. Like he did it like 10 times before I was like, you know what? I quit. Went back in to start a whole new game, and I went with Paulina instead. And this particular match between the two is absolute bullshit. So I know I said I didn't really have anything against the fever shots, and I'm slightly irritated by them just a bit at this point, mainly due to some of the ones that were unlocked later and made it really hard to see what was going on. But when you play against Waluigi, he has a fever shot because he's using the ghost racket that turns him invisible. And it also turns the ball invisible, which you probably saw. If you want, you can just rewind it. Yeah, it's bullshit. Like it was bad enough not being able to see the ball with all the stuff going on the screen. When they take the ball away altogether, yeah, it made for a rough time. I barely won this match with Paulina, and to be honest, beating the star tournament is what sort of pushed me over the edge, particularly having to deal with the ghost racket on top of the thwomp just so happened to conveniently smack down in front of me more times than I actually cared for, or in front of Pauline, who is an NPC and can react far faster than I could. She still frequently hit the ball into it as well. Now, I'm not gonna just go off and say, "Oh, it's all bad because of that one racket." No, but that one racket is bullshit, and I'm gonna stand by that opinion. I actually didn't think I was going to be able to play enough of this game in my 2 days off to actually form more or less a complete opinion, but I played through a very surprising amount of the game in a short little time. I will say, to some degree, it does feel like the were a bit cheap in terms of their production value for this game. I mean, just look at the map for the adventure mode. I mean, that's all there is to it. There's nothing really of any substance to it. It's bare bones. It's the minimum they, or barely above the minimum they thought they could get away with. And they definitely recycled some stuff from Aces. I'm not sure how much because I haven't completed all of Aces. I'd have to play it some more. And to be honest, yes, it's still a little bit harder than you probably thought it would be, or at least I should say what I thought it would be, particularly when it came to the Star Cup. And I guess there's different ways to unlock more advanced AI, but I just don't have the drive to do that. But overall, I had some fun with the game. slightly annoyed here and there by some aspects of it, but I don't think this is worth the $70 they're asking for. This should be a $40 game, $50 tops. But unfortunately, Nintendo's tendency to not discount their games until maybe several years later down the road means you probably aren't going to see this game's price drop anytime soon, if at all. Which is a weird thing that Iwata started back when he was still alive and president of Nintendo, and it continues today with the current Nintendo president, which doesn't make any business sense personally. But what do I know? I only hold a degree in business and have worked for my share of very large businesses throughout my life. So, unless you can get this game on a discount in some shape or form, I would not recommend buying it. It's not worth the $70 they're asking for. And I can't remember what I bought Aces for. I want to say $40 is what I bought that for. This would have to be probably around the same price to be worth it. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Have a good one.